Most men believe attraction is created, that if they do enough, say enough, prove enough, be the first to always text, she will stay. They believe desire is earned through attention, through availability, through constant reassurance that they care. But in all honesty, they are wrong. You see, the truth is that attraction is not created. It is neither bought with money, fame, or status. It is commanded, not through force, not through words, but through the one thing most men have abandoned entirely: power over themselves. Yes, get that line once more. Power over themselves. Being the sweet Mr. Nice Guy gets you nothing other being used. And that is why in this video your eyes will be open to the 5 secrets that makes you attractive without any effort. Just like the regular pot-bellied guys who still pull the hottest chicks while the very muscular guy questions what went wrong and find it difficult being attractive. Niccolo Machiavelli understood something most men today refuse to accept. He did not write about cruelty for its own sake. He wrote about human nature, about what people respond to, what they respect, what they fear to lose, and he knew this. The man who controls himself controls the room. The man who masters his emotions becomes impossible to manipulate, and the man who refuses to surrender his center becomes unforgettable. Women do not fall for what you give them. They fall for what they cannot control. This is not a lesson in seduction or manipulation. This is a lesson in sovereignty, in reclaiming the quiet, unmovable authority that makes a man magnetic without effort. There are 5 laws, 5 principles rooted not in tricks, but in psychology. And truth be told, most men break all 5, and then wonder why she lost interest. Let's begin. Law 1. Master your emotions, or they will master you. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must appear steady, regardless of the storm, that the moment you panic, you reveal weakness, and then at that point the game is all over before you even get started. The same is true in attraction. Most men believe that expressing every feeling, every worry, every need, every insecurity creates intimacy. They think vulnerability without boundaries builds connection. It does not. It creates a burden. When you panic because she didn't text back, when you question her every move, when your mood depends entirely on her attention, you are not being honest, you are being controlled, and she feels it. Women test emotional stability constantly, not maliciously, instinctively. They withdraw, they create distance. They observe how you respond when the ground shifts beneath you. Most men collapse. They chase, they explain, they beg for reassurance. The disciplined man does none of this. He feels the discomfort, he acknowledges it privately, and then he moves on. He does not ignore her, he simply refuses to let her absence destabilize his world, because his world was never built around her to begin with. This is not coldness, this is self-possession, and it is the single most attractive quality a man can embody. Emotional control signals one thing: you are not easily broken, and that is power. Law 2. Mystery is more powerful than transparency. Machiavelli knew that the unknown provokes fascination, that the prince who reveals everything becomes predictable, and the predictable are forgotten. Most men pour themselves out immediately. They explain their past, their wounds, their dreams, their routines, their fears. They believe that full disclosure creates trust. It does not. It creates boredom. Curiosity is the engine of desire. When a woman knows everything about you, when she can predict your reactions, your schedule, your next move, there is nothing left to discover. And without discovery, there is no tension. The disciplined man reveals himself slowly. He does not hide. He does not lie. He simply withholds the full picture. He lets her wonder, lets her fill in the gaps, lets her imagination do the work. He does not overshare his day. He does not explain where he was or why he was quiet. He does not defend his choices unless they truly require defense. He exists with layers, and layers demand exploration. This is not manipulation. This is restraint. A recognition that your depth should be earned, not handed over like a product manual on the first date. Women are drawn to what they do not fully understand. Give her certainty, and she relaxes. Give her mystery, and she leans in. Law 3. Your purpose must be greater than her presence. Machiavelli observed that men who live for approval become slaves to it, that the prince who needs love more than respect will always be overthrown. Most men make a woman the center of their existence. Their schedule bends around her. Their mood depends on her. Their identity becomes entangled with whether she approves, whether she stays, whether she validates. This is not love. This is collapse, and she feels the weight of it. When a man has no mission, no direction, no discipline, no fire that exists independent of her, he becomes a reflection, a mirror that only works when she is looking. The disciplined man is different. He has something he is building, a craft, a vision, a standard he refuses to compromise. And while he values her, she is not the reason he wakes up. She is not the axis his world spins on. She is a companion to his journey, not the destination. This is not neglect. This is priority, and women do not resent it. They respect it, because the man who is willing to lose her in order to honor his path is the man who cannot be owned, cannot be controlled, cannot be reduced, and that kind of man is rare. Desperation repels. Purpose attracts. Build a life she wants to be part of. Do not build a life that only exists because of her. Law 4. Respond strategically. Never react emotionally. Women love drama. They will always want to test you, and sadly, most men are emotional responders. When she says something sharp, they defend. When she pulls back, they pursue. When she tests, they panic. They react, and reactions are predictable. The disciplined man does not react. He responds. And there is a difference. A reaction is immediate, emotional, defensive. It reveals that you were hurt, that she got to you, that her words or her distance shifted your center. A response is measured, calm, intentional. It reveals that you processed what happened, felt what needed to be felt, and chose your next move from a place of clarity. When she creates conflict, he does not match her intensity. He listens, he pauses, and then he speaks, or he walks away. When she withdraws, he does not flood her with messages. He gives her space and continues living. When she tests his boundaries, he does not explain himself into exhaustion. He simply holds the line, without anger, without justification. This is not coldness, this is composure, and it communicates something she cannot ignore. I am not controlled by your emotions. I respond to reality, not drama. The man who can remain calm when everything around him destabilizes becomes the center of gravity. And people orbit centers of gravity. They do not control them. Law 5. Abundance is an energy, not a boast. Machiavelli understood that the prince who appears desperate for alliances loses all negotiating power. That strength is perceived not in what you chase, but in what you can afford to walk away from. Most men operate from scarcity. They treat every woman like the last one they will ever meet. They cling. They compromise their values. They tolerate disrespect because they believe no one else will come. This is not loyalty. This is fear. And fear is repellent. The disciplined man operates from abundance, not because he is surrounded by women, but because he has built a life that does not require one woman to validate his worth. He knows that if this relationship ends, he will survive, he will rebuild, he will find someone else who aligns with his values, and because he knows this, he is free to set standards. To say no, to walk away from what does not serve him, This is not cruelty. This is self-respect, and self-respect is felt, not explained. When a woman senses that you have options not because you brag about them, but because your energy says I am chosen, not desperate, she values you differently. She knows she is not your only option. She knows you are with her because you choose to be, not because you have to be, and that changes everything. Scarcity makes you weak, abundance makes you dangerous, and women are drawn to danger when it is wrapped in calm, silence. Let it breathe. Most men misunderstand Machiavelli's famous question, is it better to be loved or feared? But he was not talking about relationships. He was talking about power. And in attraction, the answer is neither. It is better to be respected. Fear without respect creates resentment. Love without respect creates contempt. But respect, quiet, undeniable, earned through self-mastery, creates desire. When a woman respects you, she does not need to be convinced. She does not test endlessly. She does not play games because she already knows. You will not break. You will not chase. You will not compromise your center. And that is the man she chooses to stay with. Let me summarize the 5 laws. 1. Control your emotions, or they will control you. 2. Mystery is more powerful than transparency. 3. Your purpose must be greater than her presence. 4. Respond strategically, never react emotionally. 5. Abundance is an energy, not a boast. These are not tricks. They are not manipulations. They are not shortcuts. They are disciplines. And the man who lives them does not chase attraction. He becomes it. Machiavelli did not write about cruelty. He wrote about survival, about power, about what it takes to remain unmoved in a world that constantly tries to break you. And the same principles that kept kingdoms standing keep respect alive. Because at the end of the day, attraction is not about what you say. It is about who you are when everything else is stripped away. The man who controls himself commands the room. The man who refuses to collapse becomes irreplaceable. And the man who walks through life with purpose, mystery, and calm does not beg for desire, he creates it. Which of these 5 laws challenged you most? Leave a comment. Subscribe if this resonated. And remember, power is not taken, it is embodied.